And we're back. Almost didn't know we were gone.
Hey, I can see the line the lines mountain there. Lines the two lines east and west.
East west.
Yeah, see the lines,
Okay, yeah. The lines, yeah.
and then yeah, and then the Karam Mountain, Mark Mountain, and then Goat Mountain, and then Lynn Canyon on this side, and then Mount Seymour on this side, and Cypress on side. Golden Ears over there.
Yeah. So speaking of the geolocation of the place,
Yes, sir.
he
That
just
side is low, and this side is
pinpointed us.
high.
Yeah. Okay. So
That side is
let
high.
let me let me cut in for a sec.
Sure, cut in
So
anytime you want.
I just got a book that I haven't read. It's a booklet. It's a small booklet from the First Nations here.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, really, it's some interesting stuff, and I'll share with you after
Nice,
I read it.
nice.
Yeah, I'll try to get into that this weekend. But since you mentioned the two lions, they weren't initially named the two lions; they were named the two sisters.
Yes,
Remember?
yes, yes.
So I'd rather use that name. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to study a bit more of the history before.
Mm-hmm.
So before colonialism and all that stuff that we won't
Ah,
touch on here. But it was called by our First Nation brothers and sisters. It was called the Two Sisters, and it's a good story, and I like it. I just can't remember all of it right now, so I'm not going to get into it without knowing the full details, right? But I did hear about it, and
no, there's a story behind it.
yeah, there is, and I recommend a channel. It's called Canadiana, and the guy's good. I forget his name, but there's all sorts of tidbits about pirates, about the East Coast, anything historic about Canada. It's a great channel. I forget the guy's name, but he cares. He's very detailed, and there's tons of research that goes behind that, man.
Why?
From the Hudson Bay Company to CIBC and all the banks and how they started, they were privateers, right? So, today we call them private military contractors, and they became rich that way. So, a lot of they were hired by the British to attack the French. It was French Canadian and English Canadian, and the French and the British were fighting for dominance over here in the country. And so the British hired privateers, which were pirates hired by the government, if you will, to attack French ships and Spanish ships and other ships to kind of, crush the competition and the dominance over the land. So they made millions and they started banks, and the corruption is continuing to up to this day. Oops, did I say that?
We will never finish until
Until
because
Jesus comes.
yeah,
But
because we our human level is
which
been
is soon.
upon.
Yeah.
We've been separated from the low caste, high caste, or whatever. Sorry, I
Yeah, it's
mentioned
culture
the
culture
middle
wars.
or lower or
Yeah.
upper,
Yeah.
and it's like people will not let go with whatever they got. They won't want to share.
Yeah, they don't
You
want to
know?
share.
Yeah,
They're greedy bastards.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Sharing
people.
is caring, right?
Yeah, you should be happy for the rich and
Yeah.
be happy for the poor.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, take care of each other
Hmm.
in the best way you can.
Yeah.
Not yeah.
But it's a fallen world, right? And greed has been since the beginning of since after the garden or since the garden or
Yeah.
but it's yeah, it's a sad thing. Like when I was a kid, I heard in class, and I canvassed for UNICEF, right? So I heard that there were starving kids, right? So I was like, what? I'm eating double portions, and I was a plump kid, right? I ate a lot, but I was always active outside running. So, but my point being is that I had plenty, and then I heard there were some starving kids in the world. So I'm like, gee, that's not right, man. So, and then she said, well, if you can go and take this little box and go get funding for the poor and stuff. So I was just motivated, right? I was just like, okay, let's do this, right? And then I'd I filled the box one time, and then there was so much weight, and then the box broke. So there's change everywhere and coins, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I messed up again. And so I come up with the idea. I'm brainstorming, and I'm thinking, hey, I got a problem here. How do I fix this? So I came up with the idea. I'd bring tape, but then I got a secondary idea, which was even better. So I said, okay, pennies take up a lot of weight, and they're worth less or worthless. It's a penny. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna just not take pennies. Like, let the people know pennies aren't worth as much, which they already knew, right? They were older than I was. But I I said, okay, I'm canvassing for UNICEF and money for the poor kids and they're starving. And I said, but I'd rather not take pennies because it's a lot of weight and it broke my box. And first I asked the teacher for another box and she said, no. She said, you bring a box, you fill the box, you bring the box back, I give you another box. You can't have two boxes because I told her my problem. So I'm like, okay, so that didn't work. No extra box. So I was
How
like,
old you
okay,
were?
I don't know, just small grade school,
Okay.
7, 8, 6,
Okay.
8,
Cool. Good
before 9.
enough. Good enough. Man.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, you got to do something about this. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to accept pennies anymore. So you get some people, you're knocking on my door, they're asking me for money, but you're not taking pennies. You'll take what I'll give you. Or other people just slam the door, right? Like, who the is this kid coming to bum from me, and he's not taking pennies? You get the door slammed. And then other people, they were like, well, that's a good idea. Then I got started getting dollars and $2 and $5 and $10, and so then I'd bring it home and I'd keep it in my pocket because you can't fit it in the box, right? Like coins. So then, my dad would take the envelope and put it in and whatever and sign it in here. Okay, give it to the teacher in the box, and I said, well. So then I just basically canceled a penny before the government of Canada.
Yeah.
So that was good. It was when I did have a good idea. I think that was pretty good. Some people didn't like that though. But other people started giving bills because you get different flavors of people. Like, who is this little bum coming here and asking me for money and not taking pennies? He'll take what I give you. You ungrateful little, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. But then some people cared, and he's like, yeah, that's logical. It makes sense. Pennies are worth less, more weight.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
give me the bills, man. There's
Yeah.
starving kids out here, man. Let's make some money here. I'm on a run. I don't got time to waste. So I was crazy since I've been a kid, right? It's just like, but it worked. It worked, and yeah.
Yeah. For me, you done?
Well, yeah. Okay. Do you want me to be done?
No. I just don't wanna.
Shut up.
Because you were saying something interesting. All this after all
Thank
the
you.
story.
I appreciate that.
You were kind of counseling.
There was some dead air.
Yeah. No, but you were saying something very important to
Giving back.
for the listeners or for me to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes babbling is good because you can come out with something strong.
Yeah,
You know.
you can. I'll pause that there, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Well, I got some.